Over the years at T2, we've done a great deal of research into people, leadership qualities, and all the facets of what we need to improve in order to foster greater productivity. In this T2 short, we are going to explore these mindsets and the best ways in which to manage them in the workplace. The individual. An individual is someone with a dominant and directive mindset who has absolute conviction. They generally prefer to operate alone and are resistant to coaching. Individuals are independent, self-sufficient, and self-motivating, which can be great. However, these characteristics can also make them difficult to manage. They are generally incredibly strong and independent characters, so micromanaging them is not advisable. However, this can cause problems if you are the type of manager who likes to check productivity, maintain quality standards, or offer ongoing support. Here's our suggestions on managing an individual. Check in once a week. Provide them with succinct communication of what's to be achieved with deadlines. When checking progress, allow them to lead. Model the desired outcome with them rather than being directive. Allow them to decide on the journey they take to achieve the outcome. The deflective. The deflective mindset is a defensive mindset who generally is devoid of accountability. Everything is against them and not their fault. The ground has to be laid very carefully and specifically when it comes to managing a deflective mindset. It is vital that you pay close attention to this mindset. Failing to do so can leave them feeling isolated and overlooked. If this happens, it will be a difficult task trying to bring them back into a positive mindset. When triggered, the deflective can easily retreat into a place of security. This is when they display the negative traits we associate with this style, such as blaming others, distancing themselves from blame, and absolute resistance towards positivity. Here are our suggestions on managing a deflective. Positivity in communication is crucial. Provide them with detailed instructions on what needs to be achieved. Give them a clear schedule for updates and communication. Be available for questions, clarification, and support. The connective. The connective is a well-balanced mindset. They are a team player who shares responsibility and uses resources and others to drive outcomes. The connective needs very little in terms of communication around direction. They are self-motivated and have the ability to motivate others. It's important, however, to keep the connective in the loop so they don't feel cut off from the team, unable to utilise others, and draw upon resources. This certainly has the potential to send them into a negative mindset, becoming much less productive and difficult to manage. Here are some of our suggestions on managing a connective. Allow them to lead on significant pieces of work. Give them freedom of action and direction. Communicate with them in terms of updates on the team's progress. Provide the outcome but allow them to model the journey, who's involved and what resources they need. The adaptive. The adaptive mindset is confident, driven, and individually competent. They are generally fast-paced, competitive, and open to communication and coaching. An adaptive strength and independence is valuable as they require little guidance on actual daily management, which allows you to spend more time managing those mindset types that need it. Your ability as a manager will be tested as the pace and level of work you set for the adaptive will have to match their needs and ability. If it doesn't, they can become disengaged and demotivated. Without objectives and deadlines that stretch the adaptive, there is a risk that they could freestyle and spiral into areas that may not be business outcome specific. Here's our suggestions on managing someone who displays adaptive mindset traits. Provide them with succinct communication of what's to be achieved with deadlines. Be directive when communicating objectives and deadlines. Communicate via the quickest and easiest method. The adaptive is fast-paced. Your communication needs to match this. Celebrate their successes so they recognise achievement. the methodical. A methodical is someone with a focused and methodical mindset. They work at a considered pace, won't be rushed or deterred from a task, and have a real focus on quality. You can always rely on the fact that when you assign a methodical a task, they will do a good job. This suggests that managing a methodical mindset won't be too much of a challenge. However, their tendency to over-engineer things means they need some guidance to keep things moving on and on track. The tricky thing is finding the balance between this and not demotivating them by telling them to limit the amount of detail they provide. Here's our suggestions on managing a methodical mindset. Provide clear communication on what is required and how it can be achieved. Give them the opportunity to ask questions. Listen to their ideas and perspectives. Avoid tight deadlines. The dependent. The dependent is an insecure mindset who tends to seek reassurance and will sanity check everything they do, even if they already know the answer. The dependent can be one of the hardest types of mindset to manage. Because they are always seeking reassurance and want to sanity check and scenario plan everything, it's easy to forget that although they do want to deliver and do a good job, they just may not have the skills yet or are not confident in their abilities. Here's our suggestions on managing a dependent mindset. Set them clear goals and outcomes. Address anything that needs clarification, but encourage them to take ownership. When they are clear on a task, step away and encourage them to finish a task first before asking for feedback. Try and keep your feedback as positive as possible so their confidence increases in their abilities. In summary, by becoming familiar with the 6 types of mindset covered in this T2 short, you'll be able to identify the different mindsets within your team and, as a result, adopt different techniques to effectively manage each of them.